If you caught my last video about my trip to New York, then you'll know about Photodome, a film lab and shop in Brooklyn. When I first dropped into Photodome, really early on in my trip, I think maybe on day 2, I needed to pick up some film. I brought some film over with me from the UK, but I had intended to buy film whilst I was over there. I was really pleasantly surprised to see that they stocked new classic film EZ400 or EZ400. I'm never really sure if you're meant to say Z or Z. So EZ400 is a film underneath the brand New Classic Film, which has been created by Ribsy, who you might already know from his YouTube channel. So Ribsy describes the 400 speed black and white film as a characterful film, characterized by its old school grain and contrast. The film uses eco-friendly packaging to help try to minimize the impact of film photography on the environment, which of course we know is a growing concern for a lot of film photographers. So I picked up one roll of the 35mm stock and I shot it at 400 ISO. It was the first roll of film that I shot whilst I was over in New York. So Ribsy does explain on his channel how you can actually shoot this film at 200 if you want, and then you get kind of like a highlight bloom, halation-esque kind of thing in the highlights, a little bit similarly to that of Cine Still. On the day that I shot the roll, it was a really foggy and misty day. It was wet and rainy, and so there wasn't too much sunlight to create really harsh shadows. But the contrast in the film stock meant that that wasn't an issue. I actually love these shots where the cityscape in the backdrop is really misty, really foggy, and I think that there is just the right level of contrast in this stock to make that, you can still tell that it's a misty, foggy day, but it still maintains that detail. I definitely agree that the grain structure gives the film a lot of character. I felt as though it was perfect for travel photography, perfect for, the on-the-fly kind of documentary style photography that I feel a lot of travel photographers kind of lean into. I've spoken before about my personal feelings when it comes to 35mm and how I tend to shoot it a little bit more casually than I do with medium format. I definitely enjoyed using this stock in that capacity, in that just taking photos of your observations of a city. I tend to also feel as though black and white generally just lends itself to documentary travel style stuff more so than colour. It feels more timeless, it feels more candid. So I'm going to roll through the photos that I took on this roll, but overall I was really happy with these shots and I really enjoyed using EZ400. I'm definitely going to be picking up a couple of rolls now I'm back in the UK and trying it out in London, in Manchester and around the UK. If you want to pick up a roll for yourself, I'm going to link it in the description alongside Ribsy's channel and his New Classic Film podcast. There is actually an episode with me on there, so if you do want to check it out, I'll link it in the description. If you haven't already seen my introduction to this New York series, I'm going to link that in the description as well and put it somewhere on screen so you can get to it easily. In the next couple of weeks, I will be putting out more New York content, so if you haven't already subscribed, then please do me a favour and hit subscribe. We will get into the photos now, but thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye.